So it's been one of those days when I lost thousands of subscribers. Now, you'd have thought that having lost thousands of subscribers, I'd be doing some soul searching about what have I done wrong, and this must really hurt. And the simple truth is, no, not even slightly. I feel clean having done what I've done. And the reason for that goes very much to tribalism. Now, depending on who you ask, some people will say tribalism is a good thing, some people will say it's a bad thing, and they're both right and they're both wrong. You see, tribalism is simultaneously both the source of mankind's greatest achievements and its greatest failings. And the basic concept is that people in groups can do things that a group of individuals can't. The whole is greater than the sum of its components. So it enables you to do marvellous things like go to the moon, and it enables you to do pretty messed up things like concentration camps, right? These are the consequences of tribalism. It's not so much whether tribalism is a good thing or a bad thing. It's basically a force amplifier. It's the same thing as a gun, right? Is a gun a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it can do good things, like it can allow you to get food, or it can do bad things, like shoot people, innocent people. And so, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a tool. And the way almost all of these tribes start is you obviously need something that bonds people together. And this can quite often be an idea, an ideology. And as time goes on, it can gather momentum. And as these things gather popularity, they also tend to gather other conflicting elements that were different from what it was when it started. And inevitably, these lead to schisms of some sort or another. And by the time you're getting to the schism, there's always some soul searching going on that, you know, well, I kind of agree with what it all started out as, and yeah, I'm fairly uncomfortable with some of this stuff, but I can sort of tolerate it for the greater good. And then there comes this sort of snapping point when you just have to look at it and say, this is going to go nowhere. And it's a fairly simple thing. You know, you go to Joe Public in the streets and you give him a sample of what's going on in your community, and if he just gives you that perplexed look like, what the fuck are you on, then it's going to go nowhere. And so it was that there was this hangout between some of the core people of the skeptical community, and they had obviously decided they were going to basically make as many twisted jokes as they could about this tragic shooting. There was this shooting, this person called the Skeptical Feminist, and all the evidence suggests that they got high on mushrooms and ended up shooting someone. No suggestion whatsoever that this had anything to do with feminism or his atheism or anything like that. This was just a sort of tragic incident, and they were basically making, you know, no, right? This is how you call spinning a narrative, is you try and associate baggage with stuff that it really doesn't associate with. And so in this hangout between all these prominent skeptics, they're all sort of feeding this in. Yeah, what is it about these male feminists and being messed up? And sorry, this just doesn't fit in that category. You know it doesn't fit in that category. And you know, making all these, joking about you know, people have just died. You know, like I was saying, you go to a random person outside of your community and ask them what they think of that, and they'll say that's some messed up shit. I mean, what the hell are you guys on? And normally I don't make reply videos because, you know, I make my video. If someone wants to have the right to reply, that's fine, right? My video, they have the right to reply. I leave it at that because, you know, it gets very complicated. Replies to replies to replies, and everyone sort of loses track of what's going on. But so I made this video which was very critical of Sargon of Akkad, and you know, initially it sort of gets fairly favourable responses. Then Sargon makes this reply, where he makes numerous accusations that I'm quote mining him or taking him out of context or some shit like that. And it's like, you've got to be... I mean, first of all, this is the direct Sarkeesian defence, right? Yeah, it's true that I was saying all this really twisted stuff and laughing at things, and right. The thing is that when you make a video, you inevitably have to take the original video and cut it down, right? Quoting someone is not quote mining them, right? To quote mine someone is to actually change the meaning of what they said, right? So this is absolutely not quote mining people. I just went through, but it's a bit of a bizarre story how I ever came across this this Hangout at all in the first place. So I was doing this experiment on an exercise bike, right? So the last time I did one of these exercise bike videos, I had the thermal camera on it. It turns out the hands are massive radiators. And someone sent me this question via email saying, do your feet do the same thing? Which I was actually really quite interested about. So I basically had to get on the exercise bike again and, you know, sort of work up a sweat and such like and see what it looked like. And whilst that was going on, the YouTube was just playing in the background. This one just came on autoplay, right? So it's not actually something I actually wanted to listen to. And it's like, you just have to listen to the video, and it's like, that's a messed up shit. And if that's the skeptical community and that's what you want to fight the culture war over, fine, do it without me. I came to this video and, you know, so I only ever watched the first half of it. I mean, they're going on for like 2 hours on this shit. And I forget whether it's the first half hour or first hour I watched, I can't remember. But anyway, I just go through and I take all the sort of really messed up bits out of it. And then I, you know, because all I really want to say here is I want nothing to do with this, right? They want to go off in, you know, this sort of Westboro Baptist Church style skepticism where nothing is too edgy for us edgelords. You know, we don't mind, you know, just joking about dead people if it suits our agenda. If that's the way you want to go, fine. You're welcome to have your if that's where you want to fight the culture war, you do it. Knock yourselves out. So I didn't actually pay that much attention to how it was edited together, right? It was basically, these are the twisted bits that they were saying, and then I cut in another video of Sargon's where he's sort of saying, we are more ethical than everyone else, and people expect more from our community, which is...
But yeah, what I was doing with the Skeptic Community video was just trying to suggest to people, look, we don't need to cannibalize our own, because that's what the SJWs do. But like you said with the candid stuff, you do understand that there is, and as this commenter points, a certain zeitgeist in the shared audience that we have among the people we're talking about, who expect a higher standard of ethics.
It's kind of funny in some ways, you know, having all that crap that they all gave Kasparian for sort of saying I'm better than you, and then to say that you're fighting a culture war because we're better than you, or people expect more from us, and then you end up sort of basically using this tragic shooting to push the narrative that this is something to do with feminism. I mean, it's like, I don't know if you can push the hypocrisy dial to 11, but this is getting pretty close to it. Anyway, so the core of the defence, you know, as far as I can tell from the comments that have been spammed on the original video I made, are that, you know, if you just play the next extra 5 seconds, you can hear Sargon saying that he thinks that they shouldn't be joking about it. Well, it's like, what the fuck is... Right? If you've got a 2-hour video or however long where you're just basically going along making as many sick, twisted jokes as you can about this, and occasionally say, well, I'm not so sure we should be doing this, right? A twinge of morality in there. I'm not so sure that makes things any better. In fact, you know, this is what I actually put in my video is a pretty decent reflection of what was in the actual discussion. In fact, I even had in the video I put up, go and watch the original video. Seriously, I'll leave the link for this hangout below and you judge for yourself. And this idea that you just say, yeah, but if you play this little soundbite here, then I'm in the clear. It's like, no, dude. You play the first hour of that video and you tell me the take-home message that you get from that. So in this sense, not only was the editing I did sort of, it was no different than what I would have done for Sarkeesian. And Sargon's defense is no different than Sarkeesian's. That, you know, yeah, but she'll say that in another part of the video I say this one thing that completely contradicts everything else, so I'm in the clear. It's like, no, for almost the entire video you were spinning one narrative, and the fact that you can pull out one little soundbite that sort of shows twinges of morality doesn't really change anything. In fact, it's one of those things I find kind of perverse. Another one of these criticisms that I was getting off this is that, you know, this joke, Thunderfoot is now the joke police. That it's too edgy for Thunderfoot or something. And, okay, well, if you want to play that game, then what? If in the stream you're having twinges of morality about this, are you there being exactly what you're criticizing me for doing? You're being you're having twinges of morality yourself. Then there was the Kevin Logan defense. You know, so I mean, having been through the Sarkeesian defense, where yeah, if you take a look at the whole video, there's that one little bit that contradicts everything else that I was saying in the video. Therefore, I'm in the clear. Therefore, you were quote mining me because you didn't put what I wanted in the video. Now, it's like what I put in the video was reflective of what you were saying in that discussion. It's called being honest. Anyway, then we come to the Kevin Logan defense, which is... So Kevin Logan made this video where he mocked me for my dad dying of cancer. And, you know, when I was sort of saying, actually, that's pretty messed up. I mean, not for the new skeptical community. For them, that would be fine. But if... You know, for me and most sane people, that's pretty messed up stuff. And his defense of it was, yeah, but I wasn't making fun of your dad dying of cancer. I was making fun of you for your dad dying of cancer. And it's like, I'm not so sure that actually helps you any. And, you know, so these people saying that, yeah, but Sargon didn't actually make any jokes himself, which is just not true, he did. But even if he didn't, the mere fact that he's sitting there laughing with the rest of them over what is essentially a tragic shooting, if that's what you want for a skeptical community, all strength to you. Go for it. I mean, I'm not your policeman. I'm just saying that I want nothing to do with you. So, yeah, and it is one of these things that I'm often surprised at just how many people are taken in by things like that. And this is a real sign that you're looking at tribalism, right? When I do this to Sarkeesian, they're all like, yeah, this is a great argument against Sarkeesian. And, you know, it's actually what you would call fairly honest video making, that yeah, you've got to chop all this crap down, you've got to take out the salient bits, the bits that actually reflect what she was saying, and then make a rebuttal to it, right? And I do the same thing to Sargon, and it's like, oh no, this is the most terrible quote mining. This is a sign that you're looking at tribalism, not actually the facts. I mean, do it. You go and watch the first hour of that Sargon hangout. And you tell me if that's the sort of skeptical community you want to be a part of. I mean, for me, clear cut. I mean, normally, I don't make response videos like this. I've got a fairly full roster of stuff to do. But yeah, in many ways, another reason I feel clean is because I've got a suspicion this isn't going to go away. The way it normally goes is once you get to a schism point, the radical side gets more radical. And yeah, so I've been in numerous of these schisms, and I've tended to be on the moderate side that has actually survived in the long term. But look, this whole thing about, you know, ethics and moral jokes or whatever, this goes all the way back to 4chan. And initially on 4chan, there were no rules. You could publish anything. And inevitably, people took that quite literally. You could publish anything, and so you'd get animal torture and paedophilia on there. You know, paedophilic pictures of one sort or another. And this caused a schism between those who thought that actually, yeah, no, there are some limits here, and those who thought that there shouldn't be any limits. And if you're on the side of this that thinks there really shouldn't be any limits to what you can joke about, I mean, where are you going to draw the lines on this? You know, kids dying of cancer, parents with their kids dying of cancer. I mean, parents dying of cancer. I mean, where are you going to draw the lines here? In fact, yeah, that was one of the things that, you know, another one of these knockdown arguments that seemed very popular was, you know, it's making jokes about the dead wrong. And because I was saying, look, they're not even cold yet. And you're basically exploiting this for pushing your ideology. And you know, they say, well, how long do we have to wait after they die until it's okay? And well, it's one of those things. How far should this freedom of speech thing go? You know, if I want to take these two metaphors and mix them, if I take the 4chan thing, you know, the animal torture, how hard should I be able to kick a puppy before it counts as animal torture? Or, you know, if I want to mix this in with the skeptical community, how hard should a skeptic be able to kick a puppy before it counts as animal torture? I mean, yeah, the short answer for this is, you know something's messed up when you see it. And I looked at that stream of theirs, and it was messed up. And that's why, even though I've lost thousands of subscribers over this, and people who are convinced by the Anita Sarkeesian and Kevin Logan defense, fine, that's great. I mean, for me, my future isn't greatly, in fact it never was greatly tied to the skeptical community. The reason I wanted to do this is because I could reasonably be associated with these people, and now I've made it quite clear that no, I'm really not. Even though I might reasonably be associated with this community, I want nothing to do with it. So, you know, I don't know where this is going to go in the future, but I think that test of time, we'll see how it goes. And there was one last little twist of irony on the list. Sargon entitled his reply video, "Don't Outshine Your Master." Well, first of all, I'm not so sure I ever call myself his master. But even at that, it's one of those things. I've basically been a research scientist my entire adult life who started making videos on the side. And you can sort of see this in the actual history of the videos that we make. I mean, you just look through my last set of videos and his last set of videos. Well, I'll edit it in somehow. Okay, so let's take a look at my last videos. What we got? Why I'm quitting the skeptical community. Damn straight I am. Hammers versus diamonds. Will it smash? Which was actually breaking diamonds with hammers with a high-speed camera. It's actually quite fun. Measuring weight loss by breathing, which is one of the... I think it might be the only video that I've actually taken down because whilst it's mostly right, it did contain a sort of significant error. And but it's still fascinating that, you know, just over the period of an hour, you can actually measure the weight that you lose by breathing out carbon dioxide. It's just fascinating. Okay, so we've actually got a video on cultural appropriation. Busted. That's Anita Sarkeesian's latest effort. So that was, yeah, it's a sort of social commentary type thing. Then what have we got? MIT and Berkeley, the world's top and 4 top universities, claim. Oh, yeah, that's where they're claiming that they can get free water from air in one of the top science journals in the world. In fact, I checked that out. It's rated in the top 0.1% of all the papers in this one top science journal, and it's complete bullshit. Anyway, so what else we got? Truth about carbon dioxide busted. This was Prague University, and their complete bullshit claims about carbon dioxide, which was a sort of spin-off of this one, which was, you know, how many nukes do you have to set off to equal global warming? Solar roadways generate 10 cents per day. Yep, that was actually really quite funny. So cost $500,000, generate 10 cents of electricity per day. And then this thing, that's my new solar telescope, and that thing is awesome. It really is awesome to the point where almost a religious experience, to the point where I can no longer walk around outside without sort of seeing the sun as this giant angry magma ball. It's really quite impressive. Whoa, bird across the sun. 2 birds across the sun. 3. Then we got a couple of videos on the ad boycott. Yeah, what caused it? What do you think?
Please tell me you're monetizing this and that you're making shekels from this.
Of course I am. But you know what's going to...
Skyscrapers hanging from asteroids. I'm seeing Fukushima busted. Self-cooling water bottle. Oh, that actually works. Yeah, I made a self-cooling water bottle. That was quite fun. And yeah, Hyperloop busted. And then finally we get some other social commentary type stuff. So we're looking at a few percent social commentary on this thing. So let's see how Sargon has outshone me, shall we? Well, he's got This Week in Stupid. Okay, that's nice. Never outshine the master. Well, we'll certainly see how you've done that now with with a t-shirt competition. Yeah, that's okay. Red Pill protest. This Week in Stupid again. Challenging stuff. Bell tolls for Z. A lot of complicated things here. I'm definitely being outshone. The Brexit elections. I'm seeing a lot of sort of, you know, This Week in Stupid. Ah, okay. Social justice is uncool. Damn straight it is. More this week. No way. He thought Le Pen would win the elections. You have got to be kidding me. So for those who don't know, that is the French elections. And it was forecast that Le Pen, who was the far-right candidate, would get about 40% of the vote and 60% would go to the other guy, Macron or whatever his name is. And she didn't even get that. She got 35% of the vote because it was that toxic. And Sargon, who is outshining the master here, thought she would win. Oh my. Yes, and people say I don't understand politics. So, I mean, I think I know where this is coming from, actually. You know, he had this thing that had this really big impact on Brexit and Trump because those things were upsets. Whereas in reality, you take a look at the polls beforehand, and they were both pretty close-run things that only just sort of eked through. But with the Trump election, he didn't even, he was the biggest loss of the popular vote in history while still winning the Electoral College. Yeah, I know the Electoral College is what wins you the presidency, but the thing is that he still lost the popular vote by a long way. And Sargon was saying, yeah, we won this with meme warfare, our side is winning. And he thought that Le Pen would win the election. That's a pretty spectacular fail. Yes, I now stand prostrate at the feet of the student who is now outshone the master, with great predictions like Le Pen will win. Yeah, I'm still mostly a research scientist, dude. If you think you're outshining me there, well, and I mean, unless the only metric that you're going for here is popularity, in which case, again, you got to be kind of careful with these sorts of things. Otherwise, you end up finding out that you're outshone significantly by the Young Turks or any of these other sort of liberal media things, like the Colbert Report. No, it's not on these days. Whatever. The new Late Night with Colbert. Actually, he's pretty good. I like Colbert. Even if he did have Sarkeesian on, forgivable sin, Colbert is still frickin' A. So I mean, I guess it's one of those sort of soul-searching times that you really ought to, at some point, decide: are you voting for videos based on tribalism, or are you voting because of the actual arguments presented? And when has the community got to the point where it will, I mean, Jesus, can you imagine if the social justice warriors had been bouncing up and down because in fact, you don't even have to imagine, right? There was one of these guys who ended up punching a policeman, I mean, the Ralph retort, something like that. Anyway, he ended up punching a cop. Nothing to do with anything else. And they span that as this is the sort of immoral people that the anti-social justice warrior lot are. That's basically the level that you've come to. That there is nothing that you won't opportunistically use to push a narrative. And that might be the road to popularism, but not for me. For me, I know messed up when I say it, and you just take a look at this live stream, the first half hour, or whatever, and if that's the sort of skeptical community you want to be a part of, fine, all strength to you. I wish you luck.